When you look into free agency, you know, all the basic, famous, like the top 3, top 5 at-bats are basically gone. You look at Kyle Tucker, Dodgers. You look at Bichette, Mets. You look at Cody Bellinger, Yankees. You look at at least Robert was a trade. Let me stop right there, but he went to the Mets as well. So you look at all the at-bats, and you know, most of like the high players in the when the offseason happened are basically gone. I mean, you still have a few names out there, Eugenio Suarez, you have Austin Hayes, you know, there's still a few out there, but most of the big names that were initially there in the start are no longer there. So what's left for teams to get? Pitchers. They're still available. You know, there's still quite a few pitches when you look into it, which is kind of crazy. You look at Chris Bassett, you look at Framber Valdez, you look at Zach Gallen. All of these pitches are available, which is kind of surprising when you think about it. But, oh, well, technically Zach Gallen was off the market for like the 1 minute that one Twitter post was posted. You know what I'm talking about. You know, let me put it on the screen real quick. The Cubs thought that they got Zach Gallen, which is pretty messed up. That's a messed up joke to do, because they tried covering it up and saying, oh, they're close to a deal. No, it's still been a month and we're still not close to a deal with Zach Gallen and the Cubs. Like, nothing's came out. But anyways, today we're going to talk about none of the free agents that are available. We're going to talk about the one, the only, the Freddy Peralta from the Milwaukee Brewers. Yes, I'm a Milwaukee Brewers fan. This one hurts, but we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about what's going to happen to the Brewers, who is interested in Freddy Peralta, and why the Brewers want to move on from it. Anyways, roll that thing. Hold on. Before we start the video, if you guys can do me a huge favor, if you guys can drop a subscribe, hit a like button, give me a comment on what you guys want to see next. If you guys like MLB content and MLB trade rumors, please go ahead and subscribe. Anyways, onto the video. Well, the Milwaukee Brewers, my team, home of the city that likes to have great pitchers, you know, absolutely great pitchers. Maybe a Cy Young pitcher there, a great closer, and you know, all this is great, right? Do you think they'll extend him? No, they're gonna trade him in their last year of the contract. And no, I'm not making this up. Let's look in depth. Let's look why the Brewers do this. Let's look at how common it is for them to do this. Let's start off by going back, all the way back to Josh Hader. Let's be very clear. Josh Hader was an absolutely fantastic closer when he was in the Milwaukee Brewers, and he still is a fantastic player when you talk about it this day. So, Josh Hader had 1 year left of control within the Brewers. What do the Brewers do? They trade him to the San Diego Padres before the deadline. Now, what do the Brewers get? The Brewers get quite a few things back, but the main prizes are Robert Gasser, he's a great pitcher. He's very young still. It's just injuries have backed him up. He's looked great when he was in the mound. But the biggest one was Estoy Ruiz. Now, Ruiz was one of the reasons why they have William Contreras, which William Contreras is one of the top catchers when you look into it. Did it work out? Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, Josh Hader could have got extended, but the trade worked out. You got William Contreras, you got Robert Gasser. So you have two young prospects, a catcher that's fantastic. I would say top 10, top 5, depends on who you're talking to. So it worked out on that trade. Now let's move on to Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes, the Cy Young winner, went to the Baltimore Orioles. 1 year left in his contract, right? So he got the Cy Young with who? The Milwaukee Brewers. What did the Brewers end up getting? Now, this one didn't work out as much. I mean, I think it's still too early to tell, but they got Joey Ortiz, has been their starter in shortstop. Bryce During has been their second base. So, realistically, they got their starting shortstop. Joey Ortiz hasn't been great when it comes to at-batting. He's performed pretty poor when you look into it. Then you look at Dale Hall, just injuries. He's shown some good aspects when it comes to it. He's been a great relief pitcher. I think they initially wanted him to be a starting pitcher, just not what it's working out to be. He's been a great relief pitcher. Just too many injuries to tell. I think it's too early to tell on that one. You move on to the next one. Devin Williams, the best closer in baseball. If you know what ad I'm talking about, I love that ad. Now you look at Devin Williams. They traded him to the Yankees. What did the Yankees give up? The Brewers. The Brewers got Nestor Cortez, barely played any games when it comes to the Brewers. I mean, he had that one very interesting game with the Yankees where he just gave up a lot of earned runs. But realistically, I think one of the biggest things with him is it was just injuries. It didn't go his way. I mean, he later got traded to the San Diego Padres, where he didn't play as well either. So, I mean, I guess that wasn't a great move from the Milwaukee Brewers. But the biggest thing the Milwaukee Brewers did end up getting was Caleb Durbin. Caleb Durbin's been fantastic for them in third base. I mean, to be honest, he barely has. I mean, it was his first season last year when you look into it. His first full season in the MLB, and he was fantastic. You know, there's always things to work on, but he was a great third base starter for them because they did need a third base at the end of the day. It was something they were looking for, and they got it out of the Yankees trade. Devin Williams also was only there for a year. He did struggle. I think Devin Williams is still fantastic. I mean, he went to the Mets, got a great contract out of it. So, you know, it kind of worked out in their favor. You know, Josh Hader left the Padres. Devin Williams left the Yankees. Corbin Burns, he left the Baltimore Orioles. So, you know, it's worked out for the Brewers. I think what the Brewers are doing, and once again, I'm not saying that the Brewers, what they do is bad. I mean, I would love for the Brewers to extend somebody like Corbin Burns, somebody like Freddy Peralta, somebody like Josh Hader, somebody like Devin Williams, because these are fantastic players, fantastic pitchers. But what the Brewers have been doing is it's just working out for them. I mean, they have a great farm system when it comes to pitching. They have great trading system, a great evaluation. They continue to get these great young players when they trade these big pitchers to other markets. It's just working for them. And what the Milwaukee Brewers, I think, are doing is really not talked about enough. They trade great MLB pitchers for young prospect players that are there within years, and you just look into it, it's fantastic. Now, let's move on to Freddy Peralta. Freddy Peralta. What is the common trend that happened with the Milwaukee Brewers? The Milwaukee Brewers have Freddy Peralta in his last year, only 1 year left of control. What are they doing? They're trading him away. Let's see how we got there here first, though. Brandon Woodruff played fantastic last year. He did come in the middle of the season because of an injury that he had the year previous, right? So he plays fantastic, doesn't play in the playoffs because of an injury. Initially, I think everybody thought that Brandon Woodruff was going to sign to a different team because, you know, he earned his money and the Brewers weren't going to give him a long, lengthy contract from what it looked like. The Brewers gave him a qualifying offer and he sure did accept. So the rumor started that Freddy Peralta was possibly going to get moved because the Brewers are pretty heavy when it comes to pitching. They have a lot of young prospects when it comes to that. So Freddy Peralta was a logical thing to possibly move because he is also in his last year. Now, do I think it's the right thing to do? No. Freddy Peralta is coming off his best season when it looks into it. He had a total of 17 wins, 6 losses. Now, I get it. It's those wins, losses, not a great thing to look at it when it comes to, you know, looking at a player's stat, but it is his most wins in all the season that he's played in the MLB. His ERA was a 2.70. Now, absolutely fantastic when it looks like it. Once it's his best ERA within the whole MLB. Within all his years playing in the MLB. So once again, having his best season yet. His whip. Now his whip is 1.07. This is not his best one in all the years that he's played, but it's close to it. He's played absolutely fantastic baseball. I feel like he was in considerations for the Cy Young. No, he was not going to win it, but he was in there, you know, people were talking about him. He was always a consideration, right? He wasn't going to win it, but he was a consideration. He's been a great replacement when it came to Corbin Burns when it was in the Brewers. He was lights out last year. So an absolutely fantastic player that lots of teams are interested in. And also one of the biggest things that is really appealing to many teams is he's only $8 million. He's only owed $8 million when it comes to salary. It was a club option. Of course they accepted it. Now the Milwaukee Brewers want to move on from him. Now the question is, where is he going to get moved? All right, let's start with the New York team that's actually hot right now. You know, they just continue to sign people. They trade for people. Let's look at it. New York Mets. They have been absolutely on fire. They signed Bichette. They went out there. They traded for Luis Robert Jr. They went out there. They got Devin Williams. They're hot. They filled every single hole that they needed to fill. They replaced Brandon Nimmel's hole. Boom. Put it there. They got the at bat that they needed. They put Bichette. They lost Edwin Diaz. Who did they take? They got Devin Williams. So they've done great when it comes to the offensive side, when it comes to the people out in the outfield, the infield. But let's talk about the pitchers. I think the pitching was one of the biggest struggles when it came to the Mets last year. I mean, it was not great when you look at it. I just do believe it was just the weakest point on the team when you look at it. I mean, you look at Sean Manaea, struggled absolutely. You know, they initially that was their ace, struggled. Cody Senga struggled. Frankie Montas left the team, so they have a hole there. Clay Holmes was all right. David Peterson struggled. So they had quite a few pitchers that did end up struggling when it looks into it. I mean, when you look into their prospect list as well, I think they have quite a decent prospect list when it comes to pitchers. They have Jonah Tong. They have Brandon Sprout. So they have a few pitchers to look forward to that they could elevate, but I do think that they need that one veteran to make this pitching lineup great. I mean, if they go out there and sign 2, fabulous lineup. But one of the biggest ones that are interested, they're very much interested when it comes to Freddy Peralta. They're one of the major teams that are in talks with the Brewers when it comes to that. Today, just a few hours ago, a source came out that the Brewers initially were asking for Jonah Tong. Mets said, nah, you ain't getting him. 4th prospect on the Mets. You're not getting him. So then they submitted a claim saying, hey, how about you give us Brandon Sprout and Jet Williams, and we could call it a day, and you could have the Freddy Peralta for the 1 year. And they said no. So as of now, the Mets and the Brewers are at a standstill. They have not figured out what is a fair trade between both of them. So as of now, it's just not there. I mean, realistically, I think if the Mets can end up signing Freddy Peralta to something that's long term, I think this is going to work out for their favor. He's still very young. He's coming off his best season. If you trade some young prospects, I mean, it sucks losing prospects, but Freddy Peralta coming off a great year, if you could get him for a few years of possession, I think it's an absolutely fantastic move that you cannot decline at all. So I do believe that this is one of the most common spots that he's going to land. But there's also other options. There's also other teams that are into it. Anyways, let's move on to the next team. Now, let's go to the other Yankee team, the New York Yankees. Now, the next following teams, I do believe that I think it's one of those things where if it's the right price, if they find something that they like, they'll very much trade for Freddy Peralta. But at the end of the day, they don't necessarily need him to survive this next season. You look into the New York Yankees, I think Freddy Peralta would be a fantastic addition when it comes to that. They don't necessarily need it. I mean, they have inquired. They have asked the Brewers what specifically they want. They have been in the following talks when it looks into it. But once again, you look at the roster, I think the Yankees are pretty solid. They just got a long-term deal with Cody Bellinger. And, you know, their depth when it comes to pitching is just great. They got Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, Clark Schmidt, Ryan Weathers. And Garrett Cole, I think, is to be determined. I'm not 100% sure on if he's going to come back this season or not, or maybe later in the season, or maybe just not at all. So, I mean, they still have great depth without him. They have Cam Schlitter. They have Ryan Weathers. They have a great amount of depth when it comes to pitching. But once again, the Yankees are a team that has shown interest when it comes to Freddy Peralta. You also, another team that I'm just going to touch very lightly because there's not been a lot of news when it comes to it, but there supposedly is a package that is interested in giving the Brewers is Padres. Padres have also shown interest when it comes to Freddy Peralta. Now, when you look into the Padres, I think this is an interesting team to acquire Freddy Peralta if that does end up happening. Padres have a decent depth when it comes to pitching. I mean, they have Nick Pivetta, they have Joe Musgrove, they have Michael King, they have Yu Darvish, who Yu Darvish did have quite a few injuries when it came to it last year, but if Yu Darvish is healthy, Yu Darvish is a fantastic type of pitcher, great to have. But the biggest thing when it comes to the Padres and the offseason is the loss of Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, you know, you can say whatever you want. Dylan Cease did end up going to the Blue Jays. Lots of people, he has struggled. The last few years, he has struggled. There has been times where he struggles. There's been times where he looks fantastic. I think the Padres do have that hole ready to go if Freddy Peralta does end up going there. It's an interesting place to land if you'd ask me. I think it's very interesting to see if the Padres do end up going fully for Freddy Peralta. Now, let's talk about the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers is a team that has went out and has asked about Freddy Peralta. Now, let's be honest. If the Dodgers acquire Freddy Peralta, it's not even like because they need him. It's just to form the Avengers at this point. I mean, you have quite a fantastic roster already as you speak of it, and adding Freddy Peralta, that's just making the Avengers. Adding Freddy Peralta, that's just pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch. I mean, it would be kind of crazy for Freddy Peralta to, you know, get traded to the Dodgers after the Brewers went 0-4 against the Dodgers in the playoffs, but it is a landing place that has been rumored when it comes to the Dodgers. The Brewers and Dodgers have been linked towards trying to get a deal done when it looks into it, but nothing, once again, nothing official yet. I mean, just like think about it, like imagine having a series with the Dodgers, like a 4-game series, and you have to go Blake Snow, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Ohtani, and then like, oh, maybe Freddy Peralta gets in there, you know? So this team is insane. I mean, they also have Roki Sasaki, but they've been using him, you know, as a relief pitcher, as a starting pitcher. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with him this year. But anyways, yeah, no, if you had Freddy Peralta, it's an insane team. Like the Dodgers are absolutely insane. They're just stacked all around. They added Edwin Diaz as well this season, so they're just stacked all around. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys can do me a huge favor, if you guys enjoyed this type of content, you like MLB trade rumors, please subscribe, give me a like, give me a comment exactly on what you guys want to see. I really enjoy doing these videos. I do multiple videos a day, multiple shorts, just because, for the love of the game. But anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.